back. This is Boomer Life on CL 650.
The best things in life are free, but you can give them to the birds and bees. I need fun. That's what I want.
Oh, don't we all want money? Welcome back to Boomer Life here on CIL 650. We're talking about money and, what money leads to, or lack thereof in many cases leads to, and that, of course, is debt problems. And we're here to give you lots of reasons to believe that there is hope and there are remedies for getting out of some of those seemingly impossible indebted situations. We're lucky to have George Abakhan with us in studio today. Mr. Abakhan is the president of Abakhan and Associates, Inc., trustees in bankruptcy, debt settlement, and debt restructuring specialists with 5 offices all over British Columbia, from Prince George in the north to Vernon in the Okanagan, and then down here in Surrey in Vancouver, and then over on the island in Victoria as well. And they're also have trustee will travel. George and all of his colleagues spend a fair bit of time on the road. And George, one of the things that I'm sure inhibits some people from coming forward to seek assistance, no matter how perilous their situation may be, is because, frankly, they're embarrassed. To be in a financial hole shows some inability to cope, some inability to manage one's affairs. And that's embarrassing to some people. And the last thing they need is to sit down across the table from somebody who's going to be judgmental, give them a spanking verbally, a lecture, there now, wag their finger, all that kind of stuff. So they postpone or avoid a realistic conversation with someone who can help them, somebody like you, a professional, a trustee. So talk to us about that. People don't like being judged. They're already embarrassed enough.
Well, the first thing I ask anybody is, how did you get into this particular predicament? And invariably, maybe there's 10 seconds of silence, and they'll say, well, I have a divorce. I got divorced. I was separated.
Right.
I was sick. I had a job problem. I had a business that ran into problems, and so on. I use that opportunity to try and understand how they got into the situation, and also to understand, where they really want to go.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives me the opportunity to assess how they're going to do in the future, and also the eagerness that they have. As you say, they come in and they're pretty bad.
Yeah, pretty messed up, I'll bet, eh?
Emotionally very bad.
Yeah.
And some of them cry,
Mm-hmm.
and we always have a box of Scotties in the boardroom to offer them if that's the situation, and we work through it. But yes, we are not judgmental. We try to make the best deal for them and for the creditors.
What sort of problems are unique? This is Boomer Life. So we're talking now to an audience around Metro Vancouver and Vancouver Island, people predominantly 55 and older. Are there any specific debt problems or issues unique to older British Columbians, George, than there are to our sons and daughters and grandchildren?
I would say yes. We had a situation the other day the other week actually, where a gentleman was referred to us, and he was living in a gated compound. He had a condo, had a chip mortgage. He had incurred some debts as part of business and one thing or another a while back, and was now 71 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And the only income he had was $1,400 from his CPP and AOP.
Right.
And he had credit card debts and other debts of approximately $200,000. Well, the payments on that at least are about $4,000 a month. And what had happened was he'd had his RRSPs that had been converted into RIFs, and now he was cashing in his RIFs to make the payments, but then he owed income tax on his RIFs.
Oh, right, of course.
So as he's cashing them in. So now he's got a double-edged sword going. In the meantime, he couldn't pay that. Fortunately, he didn't have to pay on the chip because the chip is
the reverse mortgage thing.
is a
right?
reverse
Sure,
mortgage.
right.
Exactly. So he was living debt-free on that side, but his kids were having to support him. So with the equity and one thing and another, they were having to chip up approximately $2,500, $3,000 a month, and he'd run out of his rifts.
And how many children were contributing?
Two.
I say children in an adult context.
Yeah.
So two adult children combining to produce $2,500 a month to help out Dad pay his debts.
Yeah, exactly.
That's quite a burden on those younger people.
Well, absolutely. So what we managed to do was bring it down to about $600 a month. Made a settlement with all the creditors about 16 cents on the dollar.
I assume this is a consumer proposal we're talking about?
This is a consumer proposal.
Okay.
16 cents on the dollar. That means that the guy had to pay no interest on any of the debt. And as it happens, I was reviewing the file on the way out. It looks like the proposal has gone through 3 weeks ago. Most of the creditors, over 50% of the creditors, have already accepted it. Still got another 45 days, another 30 days to go.
Right.
But that proposal will be accepted, and the children now will have to pay maybe $300 a piece. They can afford that.
Yes.
And the gentleman doesn't have $3,000 or more, $3,500 a month to pay, and can probably live within the $1,400 that he's got.
Right. So again, we talked about this at the beginning of the program. We're almost out of time. We're almost at the end already, amazingly. Well, we talked about this whole relationship, intergenerational relationships when it comes to financial commitments. In this case, children, adult children, helping Dad address some serious debt issues.
Exactly.
And we were putting the shoe on the other foot earlier in terms of caveats for grandparents and parents and co-signing and that sort of thing. So intergenerational cooperation is certainly desirable even in some cases, but you got to be careful.
Yes, it's actually essential.
In terms of children helping out parents and or vice versa in certain situations.
Exactly.
All right. Abakhan.com is the website for George's company, Abakhan and Associates, and Abakhan, to repeat, is spelled Abakhan. Abakhan.com. All of the offices around British Columbia, all of the contact phone numbers and email addresses for George and all his colleagues are available to you online at Abakhan.com. George, thanks for coming in. Merry
You're
Christmas
welcome.
to you.
Thank you, and Merry Christmas to you, Stu.
And we'll see you in 2015.
Absolutely.
That's it for Boomer Life. Have a great night.